During the course of this internship, I had many, many failures, and I can't really tell you that one was a favorite failure, but I do believe that a couple of them changed the way that I thought about what I needed to do to actually complete the internship. And one of those was I was so focused on the negative behavior that I was not even considering the fact that students could do something good. And when you're a teacher, that's the very first thing that they tell you when you get into your block for your undergrad degree. They spend a lot of time saying, you can't just acknowledge the bad. You have to acknowledge the good that these kids do. And after 11 years in education, I've gotten kind of jaded. So immediately I was like, good behavior, what is that? But I am glad that it was brought to my attention that I did not acknowledge anything good in the tracker. So I did have to add that. But it was sad that it was an afterthought, that that was the last thing that I was even considering. Also, getting the pages to sync turned out to be um, a nightmare because I would accidentally forget one section to click required, and it throws the whole thing off. So I was very frustrated for a couple of weeks actually trying to make sure that all of this went through the way that it was supposed to. And even here at the end, it's like my choice limiter does not want to work. And it's like, okay, so here we are. It's time to turn it in. And then your choice limiter's like, well, you know what? I don't think I'm going to work today. And you don't have any problems with it. And it goes through without a hitch. And then today it's like, nope, we're not going to do this. Um, but it did make me stop to think, hey, you have to acknowledge the good. And I've been in a lot of really I've been in the trenches, so to speak, as far as teaching assignments. I've been in really rough schools, 100% low socioeconomic, rural, 99% minority, with behavior problems that, are completely different than the setting that I'm currently teaching at. And after a while, you start to think that everything that happens in a classroom is, aggravating or annoying or whatever. So you really have to stop and go, wait a minute, there's some good left here and we need to acknowledge it. So that was one piece of my failures throughout this internship. Also, I figured out that at the beginning, I thought this was going to be something very easy. I thought that creating this tracker was going to be, oh, okay, I'm just going to put it together. But then at the end, when I realized there's 87 sections and different students have different needs, and you have to take the time to go through and modify intervention plans and for behavior, you really stop and realize, wait, this is a much bigger document than what I originally anticipated that it would be. And for the administrators to have these requests, Google friendly, collecting data, includes the components of the Concordia Parish discipline policy. So you had to go and, you have to see what is the policy. And then you start realizing there's gaps in these policies that need to be fixed. It needed to be free, customizable for students with behavior intervention plans, which we didn't even realize until probably 4 weeks into it that that was something that needed to be addressed. The whole school needed to be able to use it, and eliminating the overuse of interventions, because we did notice that it was like redirect, 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 that teachers were putting in redirect. And it was like, okay, well, how do we fix this? Because obviously redirection isn't working if the student has 8 teachers a day because there are 8 hours, and 4 out of the 8 teachers were like, I redirected and it didn't work. And that was the data that we were getting. Um, time stamping when the behavior is entered. And thank goodness Google Sheets automatically did that for me. It automatically put the time because I was really struggling with figuring out how to do that. And it just did it for me. And then the comment section at the ends, because originally I didn't have it where teachers could put comments. So it was like very vague. It was like disrespect to a teacher is one of the infractions. And then you get back to it and it's like, okay, well, how did they disrespect you? But there was no space on the plan. So there was a lot of editing, a lot of fixing, a lot of going back in and saying, okay, well, we need it to do this as well. Is there a way that you can fix this? And eventually we ended up with a working document that would work for everybody. There are still kinks in it that need to be worked out, like the choice limiter. That's really frustrating because without it, it just does not run smoothly at all. When you have a document that has 87 pages, or sorry, 87 sections, it's really hard to, when something messes up, it's really hard to go back in there and fix it. So, looking back on it now, it's really difficult too because I separated it by class, meaning I did not make an entire school tracker. I did one that would cover a classroom. So at the beginning of the week, when these, infractions and behaviors are supposed to start over, you have to make a copy of the tracker for each class, and then you have to go in and set your limits with the choice limiter, which takes about an hour of your time out of the week. So it seemed like, as an extension of this project going into next year, I'm going to have to refine it to make an entire school document, so that there's only one document that we're working with every week and we're not taking a whole lot of time because teachers don't have a lot of extra time. So that was really, it was just the culmination of everything coming together to make this work, that there were so many failures, tiny failures, that had to be addressed in order for it to work properly.